respected elders, organizers, brothers and sisters, Ramadan Mubarak again, and may Allah accept our fast and our prayers and all our good deeds. On our way, me and Brother Asim, I turned on the radio and I was listening for updates because honestly I didn't have a chance to listen to news. Very difficult to have time to watch or listen to the news because you're busy. But the concert that Ariana did today in Manchester is called Concert of Resilience. So it's about resilience. That says it all. Unfortunately, less than 2 weeks ago, some foolish, crazy, hate-filled, individuals attacked innocent people, mostly teenage girls, and the point is to create terror, so terrorize in the hearts of the people, and also, make no mistake, this is on purpose to defame Islam, and also to, and this wasn't one of their agendas, is that to make sure that the Muslims living in the West go back to the Muslim world, or scatter and don't succeed. This is very, very serious what we're dealing with. Whatever you do as Da'wanat or Faith of Life Network, we feature events to show the beauty of Islam. They are making sure to do the opposite. I wish I can sugarcoat and make things look nice and rosy, but the reality in 2017, we're living totally in a different mood now. And what we want you as the people who make up this community to join us as leaders, as teachers, in putting a plan. How do we silence such voices? And how we can be really resilient? And, sorry if I offend anybody indirectly, wake up from our dream, because some of us are here physically in the 21st century, but we still want to live Islam as it was lived, centuries ago. Well, wake up, Islam changes every day. It doesn't change its substance, its nature, but it conditions itself. It's like when you put water in different tubes. If it's in a glass, it'll take the shape of a glass. If it's in a tube, it will be water with the same component, hydrogen and oxygen, it'll be the same, but it can't adapt itself, can be lived in every context without changing its principles, its values. So Canadian Muslims have their Canadian experience, British Muslims have their British experience, not Moroccan or Pakistani. Don't bring Morocco or Pakistan here. Create a Canadian community that believes in Islam. Bring up a generation that is indigenous. We may be the transition as immigrant or first or second generation, but the goal is to create a community that is resilient, which believes in Islam, which believes in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which believes in the Quran and the Sunnah and follows the Imams. But still, it is a Canadian, North American community that has its own culture, has its own interests. It doesn't have to be Pakistani or Indian or Moroccan or Egyptian to be authentic Muslim. Very important. What is resilience? You take something and you bend it, and then you let go, it goes back to its initial form. Well, we are being bent now. Are we going to be broken? Or are we going to be resilient? And every time they try to bend us, we actually, sometimes you want to straighten up something nice, you bend it right and left to give it the good shape. Even when you do things such as, cooking things or baking. You try to roll things around so to give that nice shape. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is molding us as a community. So basically to recover after damage. But we're talking about a community. Usually when we speak of resilience, we speak of individuals. People who have gone through difficulty and hardship in their life. How can they recover and come back? Of course, we don't have time to go over the tafsir. We are in the month of the Quran. But Allah tells us of many stories. Look what they did to Yusuf alayhi salam. But he came back, and when he recovered strong. Musa alayhi salam, they chased him. He came back strong. Yunus alayhi salam, and he came back strong. That's resilience. Ayub alayhi salam, who lost everything and all kinds of pains and diseases and cancer, God knows what was there, and he came back strong. And all the prophets, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Nuh, emotional stress, physical injury and harm, yet they came back fresh. Subhanallah. So this is what resilience. The Quran is a book of resilience, is a book of recovering. And you look at what happened to you as bad, and it becomes your strength. It becomes a knowledge gained from an experience. So we have a lot of stories. And what do these stories do to us? When we share them with one another, they say resilience is transmissible. Resilience, you can pass it to others. Through what? Through stories. When I hear your story, it inspires me. When they hear our story, it inspires them. Story is very, very powerful. Whether it's personal story or community story. Here, Manchester is a community story. Don't look always to religion. Look as a human. These are parents, these are children. Don't always judge right or wrong. Oh, well, concert, it's haram. Always Muslim mind, oh, they went. Don't think like that. Think about people peacefully somewhere and someone attacking them. Aggression. And now they say, we are going to be resilient. We're going back 51,000 people. They were few thousands. Now because of the event, it strengthened them. And you hear this message against acts of terrorism. But we don't only talk about when it happens in the West. How about when it happens in Pakistan, happens in other Muslim communities, or Muslim countries? We have to be resilient. Meaning, to be able to go back to initial form or even better. And that's critical for us as Muslims, because our faith gives us that power and that assurance that whatever bad happens to you, لا تحسبوه شرا لكم بل هو خير. Don't look at bad things happening to you as purely evil. They might carry good in them. They may carry good things in them. You know, fire catches fields of corn and wheat. You know, and as Imam Tahir bin Ashur, one of our teachers, may Allah bless his soul, he said, there is no 100% bad or evil or 100% good. He said there is good and evil in everything. So even when fire catches a crop, you may think, oh, I lost the crop. But if you see the benefit that happens to the ground due to the process of burning, it's so beneficial. We look at positive. Then we say a land that had this process of burning, you know, its ground, is always fertile, you know. So next year crop will be much better, even double and better and higher quality than, you know, what you would have got. So there is always positive thing. So the stories, they inspire us. So we can transmit and we can inspire others through our personal stories. I can share with you many of my personal stories, you know, and they will, I'm sure they will, you know, change. Recently, you know, there was a big loss. Some brother, lost a big business. We're talking about millions of dollars. You know, people spend their life to raise $1 million. This brother lost millions of dollars. We're talking about at least $10 million in a business. Lost. Like, it never happened. When I was talking to him, so peaceful, so calm, and smiling, what did he say? It couldn't be worse than my death. Why? He said, I'm a cancer survivor. I'm a cancer survivor. We were talking over iftar. He said, I'm a cancer survivor. I don't look back at the millions of dollars. What if I died? Who cares about that $10 million? You see, we don't appreciate. Being cancer-free is better than having $10 million. How many of you would like to have cancer? We'll give you $10 million to carry it with you. None of you. We appreciate the good things. So what makes us resilient is that we have what we should be proud of. And just when things happen to us, they make us stronger in our faith. He said, I don't care. I know 10 million is a lot, I worked hard. But again, he says, I don't feel nothing in my heart about it, because when I look back a few years ago, Allah cured me from cancer. And doctors said, there is, big chance that it may spread. He said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cured me. No $10 million can cure me. See resilience, where it comes from? Appreciation. Stories of resilience, they all start with pain and tragedy. Correct? But when you read about resilience, I want you to read the stories of the Quran or stories of life, including Manchester, whatever. There is this turning point in your story where some doors open, some opportunities just come out, some unexpected events, and then you can look at life in a different way. This is a fact. This is common. These new possibilities that just come out, and something all of a sudden shifts. And then you say, you know what? Allah tells us about Ayub alayhi salam. When his wife, Rahma, and I'll share with you because I think this is a beautiful story of resilience. And this is in the Bible and the Quran. Ayub had a beautiful wife who had, of course, beautiful hair. But imagine when it touches you and touches your family, it can be very deep. Sometimes you can take the pain, but when the pain is spread to your loved ones. So Ayub said, Ya Allah, I am patient. Ya Allah, if it's meant to be like this, I will thank you. But keep my lips intact so I can make dhikr, mention of you. Because dhikrullah is the biggest thing. Trust me, dhikrullah. Ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innu al-qulub. These lips, if you don't use them for dhikr, most likely you will use them for gossip or saying bad things. When you dhikr, الدنيا ملعونة وملعون ما فيها إلا من ثلاث ذكر الله وما والاه وعالم ومتعلم. 3 things that you could do with this mouth in this dunya and will not bring you a curse, but rather will bring you blessings. You mention Allah and anything that pleases Allah. That also can be by extension dhikr. Number 2, you teach knowledge or you receive knowledge. Alimun aw muta'allim. Amazing. Amazing. Ayub said, Ya Allah, I want you to keep my lips and tongue, sound. I want them to use them. The story in the Bible doesn't go too much into details, a little bit more details, because of the context, but the Quran doesn't care too much about, doesn't go too much into the context and who lived there and when. It more focus more on the interaction between him and Allah and his family, and how the tragedy and the pain was so impactful on him, yet he displayed patience and resilience. So, Ayub, what does he do here? He prays. He lost his wealth, like our brother who lost millions of dollars. He starts selling. When you get sick, and ask anybody who was sick, you lose your job, you lose your business, now you attack your savings, you start using your savings. Folks, any one of us can be in that situation. If anybody is safe, please show us the secret formula. Nobody. You lose everything. Sometimes you lose marriage, you lose this, you lose the friends, you lose, by the way, friends, most of them you lose them. Once you lose money, you lose the friends. رأيت الناس قد مالوا إلى من عنده مال. You know, if you understand Arabic, he says, I see people going only to the one who has cash. This is unfortunately, real friends is when you don't have cash, when you're faqir and miskin. So, he lost his friends, relatives, nobody comes to visit, because nothing to put for the guests, nothing. And his wife now, whatever saving they had, they spent. She started working cleaning in people's homes. This lady who was a rich woman, you know, who was a woman who was, of course she's the wife of a prophet, but he was a rich man. Ayub's job was a wealthy person. You can read the narration, the version in the Bible. Some women, where she worked, they saw she had nice hair. You know, women, they keep long hair with braids. She said, I like your hair. Would you be interested to sell it to me? She said no. But when she was hungry and her husband cannot work, and you know, Quran doesn't tell us if they had children, the Bible, we don't know the details, but what we know is there was need to eat, not to buy furniture. They were sleeping on the floor. Then she persuaded her, she sold this part. She goes, of course women talk, where do you get this? Oh my God, you know these days they do weaves. You know the weaves? They go to India. You know, because anybody from India? Indians have the strongest hair and the best, according to. So they go to India, they buy the hair. Do you know this or not? Women, you all carrying weaves, you don't want to raise your heads. No, this is a fact. It's a fashion, because Indian hair. So that's the same. Back in the days, they used to buy from women who have hair, so women can put hair, because, you know, people, not everybody, when they're older, you lose hair, so it's natural. So now, everybody wanted that hair. So another person, when Ayub paid attention, he looked at his wife. He said, oh, why are you hiding your hair? She was crying that twice she sold so she can feed the. At that time he made dua, Ya Allah. This has reached, the harm has reached my wife, my family. That's when he made the dua and stood up. In life, and we talk about community here, as a community, unless we are one entity, we cannot apply those stories on individuals and draw parallels, because first and foremost, to be resilient, we have to have one leadership, one mind, one purpose, one goal. What are our goals? Now we are not. How can we be resilient when our priorities are different? What are our priorities? Because by knowing our priorities, we know our goals. When we know our goals, we have one plan. When we have one plan, we have a vision. A vision is a dream with a plan. So it's a very big topic, how can we be resilient as a community. But there are a few things we can share. Number one, What is our challenge? And I'll ask the crowd, anybody in the audience, what is our biggest challenge now as Muslims? We all come from different countries, but alhamdulillah, we believe in the same God, we read the same Quran, we follow the same man, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We pretty much pray the same way, we have the same values, we try to raise our children pretty much the same way. And I know, and I say this comfortable because I know I am in Da'wanet program, and I know that this is home for me. Belief-wise, practice-wise, I am comfortable. This is my place. And I would assume the same for you. What is the main challenge we have? What is the main problem? First, define the problem before you define cure. Resilient for what? We have all kinds of resiliences. And we talk about community here. How can we do resilience in community development? And that's what I am concerned. I am focused and I teach human resource and community development because unless we invest in people and skills and also in developing communities by addressing their major needs. Right now I just came from a meeting. It's a priority. Famine in Somalia and Sudan and Ethiopia. This is a priority. We are donating Zakat al-Fitr and Fidya. We said it has to go this year. We have to focus on Somalia and these countries because people, they are dying out of hunger. So this is a meeting where I came from. How can we be resilient? Well, talking about resilience, address the needs first of the people. How can you be resilient against the acts of God, nature, drought? Some of it is human, of course, or most of it, as they say, because of wars, because of the instability, because lack of economical opportunities and agriculture and all of these things come. A lot of this has to do with planning. What is the main challenge for us as Canadian Muslim communities or community? Sheikh Ayub, Sheikh Dawood, what is the main challenge we have? You're a community man and developer. If you can speak on behalf of the audience. Too many of them. But if you have to pick one, counseling for people who need counseling. Yeah, but what is as a community? Our very own existence. Our very own existence. If this nonsense is going now, the demonization of Islam and the image of Islam, our sisters now, our brothers are being attacked. Our sisters with hijab. You heard the news yesterday in St. Paul and I believe or Minneapolis, a sister was attacked viciously. You saw that probably in the news. Being Muslim is going to be a challenge. Our children, not only they need counseling, but our children, their very existence and to believe in themselves and to believe. I'm going to tell you one thing that we have to address, Brother Taha. I don't know, Sheikh said counseling. Right now, in our very last meeting of the Council of Imams, one issue was raised. We are noticing, and we're in the month of the Quran, and we have some youth and families. Now we're seeing a phenomenon, a new phenomenon. I've been warning about it, and you heard me probably. But now we have our own children coming and say, I don't believe in God. I want to be atheist. I miss those days where parents used to come say, my daughter, she doesn't want to wear hijab, or she wants to wear hijab because some parents against their daughter, or vice versa. Or my son doesn't pray, or my son is smoking cigarettes. I miss those days. You know what parents are coming to tell us? The sister comes and cries, my son says he's not Muslim anymore. How many of you heard of that? I'll ask you a question. Look, organizers, look to the audience. Audience, this is community resilience. How many of you heard that a Muslim doesn't believe anymore in God? Especially the youth. Thank you very much. Some of them left Islam and putting up social media things, Facebook and on Twitter, and attacking Islam, attacking the Quran, attacking Sahih al-Bukhari, attacking Hadith. This is for me is the biggest, our very own existence, raison d'être, is being attacked. How can we be resilient to that? I found out, and you find out by common sense, that a lot of defamation of Islam and all these acts, which I believe have nothing to do with Islam, but done by some stooges who want to defame Islam, because that's as Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam predicted. He said that the problem that my ummah will face later is that abna'u jildatina, people not from outside but from within, will try to destroy Islam. And they will read the Quran, لا يتجاوز حناجرهم, Quran, but it doesn't come from their hearts, it doesn't go beyond their throat. سفهاء أحداث الأحلام أحداث الأسنان سفهاء الأحلام. They dream big, dreams that are unrealistic. And they are sufaha, unreasonable. Sufaha have no reasoning, no way of thinking, no responsibility. We live that time. I wish I can talk about this topic and just put roses and flowers for you and make it. I am optimistic, undoubtedly, but with reservation. So how can we be resilient in our community development? Number one, I will not leave you without 3 points. Number one, we have to be united first. You can be resilient on your own. Like this brother here, he's resilient. He said 10 million. As I made $10 million, by the grace of Allah, I can make $100 million. We know. You see now Donald Trump, you know, you may say he's negative. He's very resilient. At one time, I remember a story, he was minus $900 million. Minus, you know what minus means? You owe. Means your liability is higher than what he was. From minus, he has some resilience. His success is his resilience. Now you may say, oh, what a bad example you're giving us. No, he has resilience. And that's why he's determined. And this, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, or we don't like him, or he's crazy, that's beside the point. Look at things. How do people succeed in life? Because that resilience is when you cannot bend people. And this is what happened to us Muslims. If we were banned after 9/11 because they accused Islam and Muslims that Muslims did it, if we went, one of my students, Sister Arifa, said this, I never forget. She said, I walked, everybody, she's from New York. Now she lives here, alhamdulillah, married and wonderful sister. She said the day, she lived in Manhattan. She said the day it happened, everybody was calling each other. We're not going out. How can we go walk in Manhattan? She said, I said to myself, I'll walk. She says, as I walked, some people spat on me. Some people said words. But she said, as I walked, the walk of shame. This is walking in New York, Manhattan. And I'm sure you had that experience. And people get furious and emotional. People are not bad, but they feel this is evil happening to them. She said, as I walked, I gained resilience. I was faithful to my religion, and I am walking because I have nothing to hide. This is resilience at the individual level. So when our sisters put their hijab and walked, or even if they don't wear hijab, they say, I am Muslim, and they pray. That is resilience. That would be number 2. Continue doing what you're doing and don't give up. Don't be broken. Oh no. Oh, this is the end of times. Oh, Qiyamah is coming. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Let's go now. I will cover myself and I'll go to my... That's it. Let's wait. Mahdi is coming. Isa is coming. No, that's not. In Islam, Rasulullah knows, he said, إِذَا قَامَتِ السَّاعَةِ وَفِي يَدِ أَحَدِكُمْ فَسِيلَةٌ فَلْيَغْرِسْهَا. If you know this is the end of time, the hour, this is the end of the world, and you have a baby plant, plant it. That's resilience. Not that we're attached to life, we want to, يُوَدُّ أَحَدُهُمْ لَا يُعَمَّرُ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ. that one of them would like to live 1,000 years. No, we love to live because we were created to live, not to die. And the only way to go to Jannah is that to live a good life, not to die. Islam doesn't say die. Even those who die in war as shaheed, the reason why they die because they wanted to live and defend life, but somebody killed them. We don't go to die because we want to die. We try, we go for, take medicine, see doctors, go for operation, try this, people with cancer, chemo, all of these things. Why? Muslim is not attached to life in a sense, that we just want to live 1,000 years. No! This mutashabihat. People use the Quran, some verses. Unfortunately, some so-called mufassirin, YouTube mufassirin these days, they give you these things. A lot of the damage has been done with the internet. I will recap again. Unless we're united, we can be at the community level resilient. Number two, we should keep doing what we're doing. When something happens, a terrorist attack, say, go shopping, go working, because unless you do this, it will embolden the wrongdoer. If somebody bullies you at school, and you go like, huh? Why do we teach martial art? To create self-confidence in the child that I can defend myself. And this is in Islam. You teach your children these values to stand, but don't oppress. To defend yourself. That's number two. And last but not least, number three, we have to have intellectual planning for the community. And I have to say this as to wrap up, that this organization, I have been supporting since they started. They can tell you, they are an organization worthy of the title of great leadership. If you are going to support, are you doing fundraising today? Honestly, if you want to spend money, this organization, and I myself will donate to them, and I always support them, this organization is worthy of, following, because they are leaders, they have planning. What I like about the brothers and sisters, they always plan. Look at Muslim Fest. What does Muslim Fest? No lectures, no talking heads, but they taking people from dhulumat ila nur. And in the process, you will be harmed. And don't worry about big mouths. They will talk. Those big mouths only talk. You are acting. You're walking and they are talking.